Well, the government shutdown is over, but the country is not out of the woods just yet. The Honorable Congressman McCaul is here to discuss the fiscal crisis that's looming. You know it's over, but we hit $17 trillion in debt over the weekend. Right. Where does that put us now? Where do we stand?
Well, we're not in a good place. I mean, $17 trillion. It's hard to get out of that. And I'm worried about my kids, grandkids. How do we resolve this problem? You know, I voted against raising the debt ceiling because we got nothing in exchange for that. Having said that, I think a long-term solution rather than a Band-Aid short-term fix is the path we need to go down. And how do we do that? We need to look at this mandatory entitlement spending. Right now, we have a quarter of the budget that we're squeezing all the time under sequestration, and that's the military, it's our intelligence community, it's Homeland Security operations, national security. That is taking a price on the altar, being sacrificed on the altar of entitlements. So we have to look at this major driver of spending and reform these programs to save them, but also bring down this debt.
How do we get all of the lawmakers in Washington to look at the entitlements that many of them are taking back to their own districts and say, look here, if you cut this, then we might be able to solve things?
You know, look, this.
And I'm talking about both sides of the aisle.
If it was easy, we would have taken care of this a long time ago. It's a hard thing. It's hard to say, you know, we need to reform entitlements and mandatory spending, but it absolutely has to be done. And Obamacare is a new entitlement. Make no mistake about that. We tried to reform that to some extent, and we failed. You know, I thought the one-year delay in implementation made some sense because the president exempted corporations and unions for 1 year, but not the average American. And what was most offensive to me was the idea that members of Congress and the president and his appointees are not subject to this law. So I filed the bill in the House that did pass the House, but the Senate, Harry Reid, did not entertain it, to make members of Congress and the president subject to the law. It makes common sense to me. If I were the president, this is such a great bill, great health care law, why isn't he the first one to sign up for it? Why didn't he have a Rose Garden ceremony and sign up for his crowning achievement? But he didn't. And I think that speaks volumes.
So what's going to happen in January when we have to do the budget all over again? I mean, we're in a situation where one side is this far and the other side is this far. That's a big bridge to gap, right?
It's a
big
challenge.
Gap to bridge, I should say.
It is a challenge. It's divided government. That's what the American people voted for. But it's hard to get anything done. It's hard to govern when you have dissension on both sides of the aisle like this. And so, again, I think, you know, we have this super committee again appointed to try to work out the differences. The entitlement mandatory spending has to be a part of this. I think we're jeopardizing our national security every day by not taking on that piece of the budget. And I think that's what we're looking for to come out of this package.
Okay. Jobs numbers came out this morning. Slight decrease from 7.3% to 7.2%, and a moderate increase in jobs, 148,000 jobs. Is this good enough for you?
No, you know, this economy has been in a downturn for the last, 6 years, 7 years, and it's not satisfactory. It's not satisfactory to the average American who doesn't have a job, and they're looking for a job. I think we can do better than this, and we think we have the pro-growth policies that can get this economy moving again. I don't think Obamacare hitting the streets right now is actually helping things.
One final question, and that's regarding the new Director of Homeland Security. Since you are Chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, are you pleased with the selection? Would you be in favor of Jay Johnson?
You know, I haven't seen anything to say no. We're still looking at him and his background. He has a Department of Defense experience, counterterrorism experience, was involved in the bin Laden raid, which is important. He has cybersecurity experience. Doesn't have a whole lot of management experience, which is what you need. And he's been sort of the president's personal lawyer on a lot of issues and has been involved in fundraising. So to me, the kind of jury's still out. We're still looking at him. I predict that he probably will be confirmed, and I look forward to working with him.
Congressman McCaul, thank you so very much for coming in, taking time to stop at Fox 26 Morning News to weigh in on the aftermath of what's happening in that town you just left.
Jose, great seeing you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.